let us start. So, good evening, fellow Toastmasters, our welcome guests. This evening, I'm going to do a mini workshop called Pathways. Some of the things I've learned on my journey through how to use Pathways, how to get into Pathways, the different steps you can go through and where to find all the information, the different options that are available to all members, and then to tie that into how we use EasySpeak, so that when you are planning your meetings and planning your speeches, you've got an end-to-end system that you can follow. These are all things that you can do and you can follow along with me, and I'll send you some notes afterwards that everything I'm doing you can repeat. But the first area is that we start over here as logging in to the Toastmasters.org system. And for some people, if you've lost your password, it's very useful just to come here and first time logging in, you log in, or if you forgot your password, click forgot your password, and then you can change your password. But when you do log in, this is something I've done earlier, you are confronted with the new look and feel of the Toastmasters.org. They've made some changes over the last few months, and so it's easier to navigate around the system. Here's a tip for all of you, that if you ever get lost when you're on the Toastmasters.org website and you're thinking, how do I go to a certain location? My tip for you is to come to the welcome location where your name is and click onto home, and that will bring you back to this page which I'm looking at here. And then when you start to navigate on this page, you can see all the different areas that are available to all members. So for example, here we've got my education, we've got the go to BaseCamp, Learning Hub, achievement boards, and there's lots of other information. For example, if you are a committee member, you will find information here under Leadership Central, and there's plenty of other things that they put onto the system. What we're going to look at today is how to look at choosing and finding out what is Pathways and finding out information about that. Now, to get to Pathways, you can go several ways. You can either go directly into BaseCamp, which we'll do later, or you can go via the education programs, which is what happens when I click here. And you can see this is where all the different education programs are available to you. Now, one thing you can do if you want to see the information in Spanish rather than in English, and if you're using Chrome, then what you can do is you right click onto the screen and then you can click translate to Spanish, and it will translate the page into Spanish, and it's just that page. So by the time you go to another page, it would change it back to English. But anytime you want to see a page in Spanish, you simply right click, click translate to Spanish, and it will put it into Spanish. And then if you want to put it back into English, of course, you can put it back into English, and you can choose other languages if you wish. Now from here, what we want to look at is Pathways, which is to understand a bit more about Pathways. And you'll see when I click onto the Pathways area, it brings us into the Pathways pages. And the area I want to go to is this Paths and Projects. And here you have information about all the 11 different paths that you can choose as a member. And you can choose more than one. It's up to you. You can choose as many as you wish. As long as you pay for them, you can choose which ones you want. Now, if I wanted to, for example, find out about dynamic leadership, for example, all I do is simply click onto the icon here, and then it brings me in and shows me the information about this particular path. And it shows me that there are 5 levels, and then it shows me all the different projects that I would need to fulfill within each of these 5 areas. Note that when you get to levels 3, 4, and 5, you get a choice of which projects you can work on. For example, when I click onto elective, here you get a whole list of different projects that you can choose, and as it says, you choose 2. So in fact, to complete the whole of level 3, I would do a mandatory project, and then I choose 2 others. And that's the same for level 4 and level 5. And sometimes it's only 1. And this is where you get to the longer speeches. Any queries or questions so far on that? And remember, anytime you want to, you can translate it into Spanish anytime you want, like that. Okay. Is this all straightforward and clear to all of you so far? Or are there any queries? Okay, good. So let's actually dive down into Pathways itself, and we'll go into the education programs. We're going to go to BaseCamp. Now, when you click this button, which is under the education program, and click access here, you'll get the option to either go directly into BaseCamp. You can view this navigator, which is a very long manual, which gives you a big overview of how Toastmasters works, how Pathways works. It's a very useful document. And again, it's available in Spanish as well as English and other languages. But if you want to choose a different path, you want to buy a new path, supposing you've already completed 2 paths and you want to choose another one, here is the option, choose path. And supposing you want to do the pathway in Spanish and not in English. So what you would do is where it says choose a path, it says select language, there's Español, click, and it says como deseas seleccionar el trayecto. The one we want is ver todas las opciones de trayecto. We click that and then we click continue. From here, it shows you all the pathways again, but this time it's showing you in Spanish. And again, will you take a look at which one you want? But please note, there are changes happening to pathways in the new year. And if you see, for example, here, it says the Desarrollo de Liderazgo path will no longer be available for purchasing at the first half of 2024. So you can still buy it now, and you can continue it and finish it if you started now, but come the new year, that particular pathway will not be available. They are amalgamating lots of the different pathways that exist in Toastmasters to make the options. They're looking at the best options that people have been choosing. For this example, I'm going to show you what would happen if I clicked on Desarrollo de Liderazgo. When I click on that and then I click continue at the bottom, it brings me into this area. I click continue, and this is where the payments section shows up. And here, if you want to buy it, it will cost you $20. And then you pay $20, and then you'll get access to that particular module from Pathways. Is that clear what I've been saying? Any queries on that one? Is that straightforward? Okay, good, thank you. Well, as I am not going to buy this, because I've already bought it, I'm just going to go back into the basket up the top here. And I'm going to remove that. Okay, you can always go and remove things if you've made a mistake about buying. Right, now I'm going to go, I told you at the beginning, we can go back to the home page by clicking My Home, and that will bring us back to this location here. Now I'm going to go to BaseCamp this time. And when you click onto the BaseCamp icon, it will show you the clubs that you belong to. If you've only got one club will appear. If you've got more than one club, then in my, on my screen, I belong to more than one club. So I've got 2 clubs. And if you are the president of the club, or the vice president education, or the secretary, then you'll see another option, which is to BaseCamp manager. But as I'm no longer a member of the committee, I only have the options to go to these 2 clubs. So I'm going to choose Sardinero for today. And when I come into this location, you've got lots of information to help you decide what you want to do and to get some learning. So for example, there's some education area here. You remember every time you do a speech, there is an evaluation form. Is everyone familiar that you can download an evaluation form? Well, here, if I click on here, you can go into, there's a library that you don't have to necessarily go into your area. You can download them directly from here, but they're only in English on this screen. Okay, so back to this location, and here it says paths and learning. You can either go in directly to, these are shortcut menus, and it shows the last 3 that you've got access to, or you can go into paths and learning. That would take you to all the learning that you have. For now, I'm going to show you Dynamic Leadership Spanish. I'm going to click onto Open Curriculum, and this will take me into the Dynamic Leadership Spanish, which I've already started. And you can see that if I go back to level 1, you can see that when you have completed a different project within this particular location on level 1, you'll get a check mark or a tick over here. And then when you have finished it completely, you'll get a certificate at the bottom, like so. But anyway, there is a certificate that you can print and you can share online if you wish to. The area I want to show you is level 2. And as you can see, I have completed 2 out of the 3 projects in this location. So I still have to do understand your communication style. And when you open the pathway, this is what it looks like. Okay. Now there are different ways of navigating through the education program at this point. You can either click on comenzar, or to begin, and then you can navigate through these chevrons here. You can go backwards and forwards within it. Or if you wish, you can go directly to this area here, which will take you to the same places. So I can go like so, and I can read all the education. I can go through all the things it's asking me to do, so that I'm getting myself ready to understand what it is I'm trying to do for this particular, what is the criteria I'm trying to achieve, what information have they got available to me. And you can download this verification list if you want to. And what I like to do is the next 2. Here, this is the evaluation form. It's in Spanish, and you can also print the whole of the project. And this is what that looks like. So this is the evaluation form, and when it's in this format, you can type your name, and you can type the name of the evaluator, and you can put the title. So what I like to do is I fill the information out in advance, then I click download, save it with my name and the date, and then I send it to my evaluator. And that way you've got the form ready, filled out, they know what you're trying to do, and then their job as the evaluator is to open it, and in most cases they'll be able to click on here and to fill it out for you, send it back. And the evaluation form has 2 main parts where they can do general commentary, and then they can do some other areas where they look at clarity, vocal variety, gestures, and so on and so forth. And they can give you a mark out of 5 as how you've done on that. I find it's very useful. I do that all the time, and it's a way of me engaging with my evaluator on a regular basis. This next one, this is the whole of what we've just been looking in pathways. Sometimes you want to read things offline. So what you can do is download this. It's in a PDF format, and it's the whole of that particular project which we've seen. So we're seeing it in printed format rather than we're seeing it. So you have all the information there for you. Okay. Again, I find that's very useful, particularly when Some of these pathways are much more involved and complicated than others. So having the ability to download it, sometimes I'd take a red pen, a highlighter in the PDF, and I highlight the areas that I'm particularly wanting to understand more, particularly in Spanish, because there are times I go, I don't understand this. What's going on? I need some help with this. Juan, where are you when I need you? You're not around. But it is a useful tool to have. Okay, so now you've been into pathways. You've seen, you've chosen which path you want to go onto. You've also decided which level you're going to go onto. You've read through all the information, so you have an idea of what the criteria of the speech is all about. You've got your downloads, you're ready. So what's the next step for you? In my opinion, the next step is for you to take some paper and then to start making some notes as to what the speech might be. And if you have a mentor, which I hope all of you have, then you could discuss with your mentor, hey, I want to do a speech on vocal variety, understand my communication style, understand my leadership style. This is what I think so far. What do you reckon? And then because we all work, or most of us work, or we have busy lives, you have to decide how long will it take you to write the speech to make it ready. Now, some people can write a speech like that and they can do it in a week. Some people take a month. Some people take 3 months. Whatever your timetable is, write it down. It could be that you can write. Ray might say, hey, do you know what? I'm going to be ready to deliver a speech in Spanish on the 1st of October. Okay, that's his goal. What Ray can do next is, because he's now decided that's what he wants to do, he can commit himself to going into EasySpeak now. I'm not pushing you to do this, Ray. sorry, just using you as an example here. But what I like to do is to push myself, is to say, okay, I'm going to go into EasySpeak and I'm going to set myself up to do the role. So it motivates me to actually have to go and write the speech if I haven't written it, and to get it ready and do it. And the only way to do that is to log into EasySpeak. And again, if you've forgotten your password, that you have trouble logging in, you can click forget my password, and the system will send you log on details to how to change that. But when you are logged in and you want to choose a new speech, first of all, you might say, well, let's have a look. We go into the future. But supposing I wanted to go for the next meeting, and hopefully that one will be the 12th. Then what I do is I will come into this area, go to my participation, which is over on the left-hand side. And here it says request a speech. I give that a click and it brings up this request a speech dialog box. Here you type in the name of the title, if you know it. If you don't, then you could put down to be confirmed. Whatever you need to do. The next thing you do is you go to workbook. And here, these are all the different workbooks that I've got open, and your list will look different from mine. I'm going to choose the dynamic leadership, and then I'm looking at level 2, understand your communication, like so. And the next thing I need to do is go and choose the date. And oh, I might choose my birthday, but I think I'm not going to do that. So I'm going to maybe do the 26th of and so on. 26th of September. Give that a click save, and then that will go to the VP Education, and then I think it's Juan. You're the VP Education. Juan will then take a look at, oh yeah, the request has come in. You probably can't see the pop-up, unfortunately, but that's what would happen. And then Juan would then say, okay, Pedro wants to do a speech on the 26th of September. Okay, we'll put him down, and so on. Okay, and it's simple as that. Next thing you do is you go back and you start then to prepare your speech, and then you deliver your speech. And I say 2 or 3 days before the meeting, what I tend to do is I log back into to Pathways, download the evaluation form, find out who my evaluator is, and then send it to whoever that person is going to be. Now, fast forward. I've completed my speech. What happens next? Well, the first thing you'll know is that it will be completed here in EasySpeak. Now, that's just the first part. You will still not be credited with the speech until you go back into Pathways and complete it there. So back we go into Pathways, back into this area here, and when you get to the area that you're this area, this means that you've come to the part where you have completed the speech. And I wait until I've completed my speech, then I will come into this location, and here it gives you an option to evaluate how you think you've done. And once you've come to the end of doing this, then it will say you've completed the speech. Now you need to evaluate yourself, and then it will pop up with a little option for you to go and complete that. When you have completed all of these areas in here, and I've got the 3 ticks, this last one here where it says level 2 completion, this will change and it will say mark complete. You click it, mark complete, and then that will send a message to the VP Education informing him or her that the speech has been completed. Now the next bit, which I can't show you because I'm no longer the secretary, the secretary or the VP Education or the president will log into Pathways BaseCamp Manager, and there they will be able to see that Pedro has requested a confirmation that he's completed the speech, and you complete it there. Now this is where it gets different. This is where Toastmasters is still in an evolving system. There are 2 separate systems in Toastmasters. We have toastmasters.org, which is this location here. And if you look at the URL at the top, it says toastmasters.org. When you come into Pathways, you'll look at the URL, you'll see it says toastmasters.csod.com LMS. That LMS is Learning Management System. What Toastmasters have done is they've gone to a third-party company, they've bought this platform, and they've created the Pathways on that platform. It is independent of toastmasters.org. So why is this important? I've completed my speech, you say. What's going on? The systems that Toastmasters uses, they use this area here, which you might have seen already, which is the dashboard. The dashboard is linked to toastmasters.org. It's not linked to the LMS pathway system. They're separate. And that is why the VP Education has to go into Pathways BaseCamp Manager to approve a speech. And then that person needs to go into Club Central and then to approve it there. It's a pain. We know this. It's not ideal, but that's how the system works at the moment. So the VP Education has to approve a speech twice. First in BaseCamp Manager, second time in Club Central. If they don't do that, then the information will never appear on the dashboard, and we will never get any points, and we will never know what a wonderful club we are. Does that make sense, what I've just been saying? Is that clear? I know sometimes it's a bit confusing. Now, from what I understand, changes are on the horizon. Things will be changing. They're making lots of changes to BaseCamp, and I'm hoping at one point where they will marry the 2 systems together and we won't have to keep doing this. But until that point, we do. Okay. Right, the last thing I want to talk about is the actual dashboard itself, and how do we know we make progress as a club. So one of the things to look at is when it says level 1 awards, it says 4. It means that 4 members, 4 of us, need to complete level 1 to get 1 single point. There are 10 points to get, but that will give us 1 single point. Now, what it also means is that if Pedro here completes 2 level 1s, only 1 of them will count. Okay, so I can't do 4 level 1s and say, yeah, and we get a point for the club. No, it's only 1. It needs 4 independent members to complete level 1, and then we get the point. It's slightly different here with level 2 because they need two of us to complete level 2, and then another 2 of us to complete level 2, and then we get the point there. Okay, and then you can see as it goes down, it gets harder and harder to get the points. That's why it's very important that when we start off our Toastmasters journey now, that everyone takes a look at, well, let's see, is 4 of us over the next few months, we can all do at least 1 level 1 and 1 level 2. It should be possible, but that's what we need to try and aim at, and that will just keep our education progress going. Ray did mention it at the beginning. It says up the top here, if we're going to continue to be a growing club, we've got to keep an eye on these numbers, and as the numbers will start to go down, we've got to take a look at what we're going to do to get the numbers. We need to get 18, that's what they've required us to do. It's a 3% net growth of 3 members over the course of the year. Can it be done? Yes, it can, but we'd have to work together on that. Okay, right, now I'm going to open up to you guys for a question and answer session. We'll do 5 minutes, or as long as you want. Well, not as long as you want, but we've got 5-10 minutes. So I'm going to open over to you guys. Any questions that I've rushed through, or if you want me to go back and answer any other queries and questions? Maria, come on, you've got a question for me, I'm sure.
Pedro, I have a question.
Go on then.
Yeah, last course in June, we have a lot of number level 3, I think, or some. So Ray and me suggested to keep this speech and not to put in, in EasySpeak and in Toastmasters, to keep for this course. Can we do that?
Not really. The idea is that you put them in as you do them, that you don't save them up, but I know clubs do. But
yeah,
that's against really the whole spirit of doing this. It's the whole idea is if we plan what we're planning to do. So for example, if one says to me, over the course of 12 months, I'm going to do level 1, level 2, and level 3. Well, that's a good start. And if Ray does something similar, there's no reason why we don't get 10 points every time. But it's the trouble is everyone leaves everything to the last moment, and then that's why we end up with more level 3s than we need and all that type of stuff.
Yeah, okay. So it's better if I repeat the speech, download.
No, write a new speech.
Yeah, sure, it's better.
do a new
more work, but it's good.
Hey, but it's all about learning. It's all about learning, right? And I repeat and I rewrite things because I'm still learning.
Sure, yeah, right.
Next question.
Well, I have a question. First of all, your explanation is being like exquisite, even though I already know everything or most things about, EasySpeak and Toastmasters.org and Toastmasters, the LMS, the system and everything. it's nice to have a refreshment, and that's it you did, and I appreciate that. My question has nothing to do with education, has something to do with what you said. We need more members.
Yes.
And it's very hard. We can see, even if we have the members, it's kind of hard to motivate people to get together and do speeches and take roles, and as much as we like, these people that don't do anything, when they come, they love it. So they are in the club because they like it. They like the idea, they like to share, they like to see other people, they learn by doing, they learn by listening, by seeing. But the thing is that this is a reality. We never have enough people, and if we have enough members, we don't have them actively.
Okay.
Doing things. So what should we do? Can we work together to make a plan to make this work?
Absolutely. So here's a suggestion, perhaps, is that, say, for example, Ray, I'm going to use you again. Apologies. Say Ray is working on a particular, say he wants to work on improving leadership, and he wants to work on that area. So he could come along and say, actually, I'm stuck, and bring it to us as a task, and we could all throw in ideas, and then he goes away and writes it up, and then comes back and delivers the speech 2 weeks later or a month later. And everyone can bring an idea, and we can all brainstorm to come up with some ideas which we can turn into speeches. And that might help, particularly if you say, I actually want to do a level 2, like the one we've just been looking at. It's understand your communication. So what does that mean, guys? What does communication mean? What does it mean to you, Juan? What does it mean to you, Angela? What does that all mean? And then we can brainstorm that, and then Juan can go away and write a speech about another episode of the Burbujas de Acero and stuff like that. We turn it into a mini workshop on how to write a speech, and then the output is that someone actually commits to go in writing that speech and then delivering it either in Spanish or in English. That could be working. That's a suggestion. But I agree that we do need to have some more brainstorming as to how do we get people to take on the roles. For me, every time I turn up at Sardinero is an opportunity to speak, whether I'm doing a speech or I'm doing an evaluation, grammarian. It's all FaceTime. It's all talking time. And that's where I think some people don't always get that. It's an opportunity to express yourself. And it's not always doing speeches. So Ray, I've watched Ray, and he's improved as look, he came second in the district in the evaluation contest. Well, that's through hard work and practice, right? Unless, no, Ray, we know you're brilliant, but you know what I mean? You have to work at these things. And the only way to work at it is to put yourself forward.
Stage time, stage time, stage time.
And exactly that. Right. Another question, Juan or Ray or anybody else?
Yes, me, please. What's the point of having to approve all speeches in 2 different platforms, in BaseCamp Manager and in Club Central? Is there any advantage, or why don't they merge it? I don't see the point.
This is what I was saying. At the moment, the systems are separate. They bought 2 separate systems, and they haven't yet managed to merge them as a single system. So until we can merge them, we're having to work on 2 different systems. It's not ideal, but that's where we are. It would have been brilliant had they bought the system and it worked seamlessly, but it just hasn't. Changes take a long time in the Toastmasters world. I've been hearing that they are making changes to pathways. We'll have to wait and see. I don't really know exactly when it's going to happen, but that's the situation, is that when you look at this dashboard here, Juan, this is linked to Club Central. It's not linked to pathways. So if you are making progress in pathways, you have to be. So I'll show you again if I go into pathways. You see this bit here where it says level 2 completion?
Yes.
The only way that you will know that you completed that is if the VP Education approves it here. That is in BaseCamp Manager. And the only way that that information is going to make its way across to, if I can remember which one it was, where did it go to? This is guess which screen it was. Where did I put it? Oh yeah, the only way it's going to make its way onto here is if the VP Education, once they've marked it complete in BaseCamp Manager, they also complete it in Club Central. Unfortunately, that's the system we have to live with.
Yeah, it's okay. It was just a question. So is the system. I admit it. I only guessed if there were any intentional reason or advantage or something, but now I understand. It's what's so and
no advice. That's exactly it.
Okay,
I think unless you have any more burning questions, I'm going to say thank you very much. I hope you have found this of use. And if you've got any feedback afterwards, then please let me know.